These steel plates are so heavy, it takes 4 guys to lift them. Once we've got them lined up, we'll tack weld them to hold them in place. These two work together like a well-oiled machine. Now, let's get this welding show on the road. This is what I call some serious welding. Time for the old compass trick to mark the cut. And then, we let it fly. This gravelly ground is perfect for this job. No need for extra support. There's already space under the plate. Super handy. This guy's got some seriously steady hands. Cutting right along the line, like a pro. And he's not wasting a single scrap. Hauling it over to the other side for more welding. When it comes to reusing scrap, this guy's the king. Nobody does it better. Watch him go, marking up the plate. Cutting those scraps into shape. And just like that, with a flick of the wrist, he's got the rest of the scrap off. Now, this plate is seriously heavy. Took me a minute to even get it up on its edge. Time for some support. With that in place, we can flip it over. And it barely even budged. Let's get this pipe under the edge. Time for some hammer time. Here we go. These guys are giving it their all. This plate is seriously thick. Hands are gonna be numb after this. Gotta switch out the muscle. After a long time, they finally got a little bend in it. Now, let's do the same to the other side. Time for some ears. Hook up the come along. And we'll winch it together. Pretty clever way to do it without machines. These guys are resourceful. You gotta hand it to them. Now, how are they gonna close that gap? First, a few tack welds at the top, just to hold it steady. That should do it. The gap is still pretty big. Not gonna be easy to fill that. So, he's welding on some more ears. This time, on the back. And using the come along again to pull it together. If it doesn't cooperate, a little persuasion. And a few more welds. Now the top part's looking good. Knock off the ears. And move them down below. Come along, do your thing. Even the toughest metal will give in. Weld, weld, weld. Once the outside's done, flip it and do the other side. It's starting to look like a funnel. But it's a little wonky. Pretty warped. Time for some come along action. Gotta straighten it out. And there it is. Perfect funnel shape. Look at that big tank in the back. That's gonna take a lot of steel plate. For guys, 1 sheet of steel into the rolling machine. And just like that, a curved piece of steel. Gotta make a bunch of these. Time to put it aside. Next up, welding the curved pieces to the funnel. Start in the middle. Get it lined up. Looks easy, but takes teamwork. That come along is a lifesaver. Without it, they'd be stuck. Okay, that piece is on. Time to lift it up. Support beams in place. Tack weld it. No need to hold it now. Big ring coming in. Center it up. Weld it on. Gotta make sure it's secure. Don't want it falling off later. Roll it over. Time for the next piece. Same process. And just like that, another section is done. 3 pieces together make a circle, sort of. Time for the big ring. Just pop it inside. And it'll hold a shape. Now we can keep welding. Keep going like this for 7 sections. Gotta make sure it's solid. So, another pass on the outside welds. That'll seal it up tight. 3 welders on the job. Things are moving fast now. Bend the channel a bit. And weld it to the outside. Make it extra strong. A few tack welds to hold it. Uh-oh, this side's sticking up. Easy fix. More ears. And the come along. To the rescue. There we go, nice and flat. Okay, rings are on. Time for the top. Same deal. Cut, cut, cut. And the top piece is ready. Fit it in place. Here's a pry bar to close the gap. Tank's almost done. Gotta cut out a little section for the support. Cylindrical supports are more stable. Lots of welds for extra strength. Gotta have 4 legs to hold this big tank, and a ladder. Pipes and steel bars to finish the top. A little paint, and the tank is done. So, what do you think they're gonna put in this thing?